themselves way too much in Eve, and that's why. Look, Eve is unbelievably popular. It's one of the biggest MMOs out there at the moment when it comes to space MMOs. So you got to give them their props where they're due. But I think they may have essentially overstretched themselves with that, and actually not realized that it just wasn't. They didn't have enough resources to be able to push out another game on top of their Eve while they were still trying to get Eve actually.
Well, Eve was their big cash cow, and they literally had to decide whether or not they want to keep on making money or potentially lose money, some of the money they're making. So it's like, yeah.
But I mean, that's going to controversy.
I forgot that alarm was on. I'm sorry. That's gonna be some editing. That's gonna be editing right there.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all the geeks out there and out on the geekdom, and welcome to another podcast. This time, however, it's not just an impromptu podcast. Yeah, this one is kind of...
It sounds impromptu, though.
It always sounds impromptu. It is the ZaffaGeeks, after all. We don't script a damn thing, but you guys know this already. So anyway, we have the one, the only, ZaffaGeek. Welcome.
Yeah.
She sounds like a crow.
Yeah. That's me clapping hands for those of you on audio.
I've been practicing because I stare at them out the window every day, so I'm becoming one of them.
So, I firstly need to apologize for the lovely setup we have here. If we don't have this, you'll see this. So there's a reason why we have the really horrible setup for stream
reception.
Yes. But yeah, so anyway, we've got ZaffaGeek here, going to be chatting. We're going to be talking a lot of crap because it's what we do. You know that it's not scripted. Kez also knows that it's not scripted, so she's going to make sure that everything is pretty much chucked in and we look like complete dousses at the same time.
Yeah, right now we're Akadusa, and next after she's done with it, we're Lakavana.
Yeah, exactly, beard army, because why not? I think the beard looks good. I like
it does.
It just needs to be a bit longer.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit longer.
You need to like trim it sort of like a Gandalf sort of style beard. So you have the salt and pepper, like the black, and then this white, and eventually you'll become Ziff Diff the white. Yeah, grey.
At the moment, I'm Ziff Diffie the grey. Well, we've already got Ziff Diffie the grey. That's the whole thing. You've met Ziff Diffie, so you know the real Diffie. He's actually the grey. You should be hearing some of my songs as well. Not the
nice,
great, but I'll try.
At least you won't be DMCA'd for it, so it's okay.
Exactly, it's my music. You can't DMCA me for my music. And if someone tries, well, then I'll DMCA them back.
Well, they DMCA'd Herman Lee for playing Dragon Force music. The guitarist from Dragon Force got DMCA'd.
But didn't Metallica also get DMCA'd?
Twitch literally played a audio track of like some weird jingle while they were like rocking out on the guitars and the drums, and like you hear this.
Like, you know what? If ever you wanted to know what happens when you go after a company like Napster,
yeah. It's just fucking funny, man.
It is. It's so funny. For a little background information, for those of you who don't know, and for Kez, because she obviously doesn't know what I'm talking about, when Napster came out, Napster was a music sharing...
I know what Napster is.
Okay, well then...
I'm young and I'm old, but I'm not that young and I'm not that old. I'm like just in the middle to know what it is, but not too much about it.
But anyway, so what they were doing was they were sharing music, and Metallica, Lars Ulrich actually was the one who went after the Napster and said, oh no, you know what, we're going to sue you and all that stuff. Now the guys from Napster were college guys. They didn't have nearly enough money to be able to afford that. So they shut Napster down. Twitch, not wanting to be sued by Metallica, probably did the same thing.
Exactly. And you know what?
Not taking that chance, thank you.
And you know what? There's like allegedly, like there's a person who's moving in the same social circles as Metallica and everything. and he played one of their songs, and he got like a massive DMCA strike on his channel for that. And like 2 weeks later, he met up with Mr. Kirk, you know, Mr. Vocalist. Mr. Vocalist, and he's like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And Mr. Vocalist just looked at him and said, "Dude, that's Lars. That's Lars. It's not me." Allegedly. Allegedly.
And it was really funny. Was I watched? I think it was. She's like, I can't remember. It's one of I watch a YouTuber, and he's a musician. He plays guitar, so but he was talking about it, and he said he puts the video up. He says, you know what's really funny? It's like that old video that Lars Ulrich did with Saturday Night Live, and he puts the video up, and he says, you know, I like to think of it as poetic justice. Oh no, I'm whoring myself out for you people, blah 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 blah, and it's like, well, now you really are hurting yourself out.
Yeah.
You have no choice. You've gone and done it to yourself. You know, it's common. It really is. It's poetic.
It is.
It's really funny how this shit just happens, and it's them so hard. But yeah, anyway, so we're just talking crap, as we always do, and poor Kes is sitting in there in the corner going, what about me? When's
No,
mine?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm listening.
You know, we're the beards, she's the beauty. Let's just leave it at that.
It's true. It is true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
She's the beauty. We're the ugly bastards in the back. I mean, look at my bald head. Look at my bald head. I'm hideous.
I mean, let me tell you the viewers and the watchers, a little bit of or the listeners, a little bit something about the SA Geeks. The first time I met them, I'm like, I'm never gonna organize anything personally with ZaffaGeek. If I want to talk to the SA Geeks, I'm gonna talk to Kez. She will do everything. She knows what's going on. Like in most relationships, you see the man and you just go, "Hey," so you talk to the woman like, "We're having a braai next week." She's like, "Yep, okay, cool. You don't have to worry about anything else. It will happen."
Yeah, it's true. It really is true. If you had
organizing things, so that's why I love organizing things. I like being organized and planned and stuff like.
I would like to actually. This is one thing I wouldn't want to really talk to Zaffa about, because I'm sure you agree with me. Vampire the Masquerade and the cancellation.
Wait, what?
Not the cancellation, the delay.
The delay. I know about the delay. It was, it's kind of, if you looked at is it Paradox? It is Paradox, right?
Paradox, yeah.
Yeah. But they had like another studio working on it. And they went like literally dark for like 3 months. And I'm like, okay, cool, there's another delay coming in. And then they let the studio go. Yeah, and then they let the studio go. So it's like, okay, cool. So they're pushing it for a 2022 release. The big thing though is like, even if that doesn't get released, the Vampire Masquerade community is big enough to just continue on with their own stuff, you know?
Yeah. The whole thing is, you know how big the community is. I mean, all you have to do is look at the designs, the different designs that were made after the Masquerade, the first Bloodlines had come out. I mean, you had what was it? There was the Colmarilla edition. I mean, that was a fan-made edition. They actually redesigned it. They had voice actors come in and act some different parts and things like that. I actually commend the community for doing that, because you know what? It just shows that I'm part of that community. I love Vampire the Masquerade. I've loved it from the day I played the very first pen and paper. When I actually got the pen and paper with one of my friends, we sat down and we played it, and I loved it from then. And when I wasn't too fond of the Vampire Masquerade Bloodline, the first. Sorry, what was it called?
The Redemption.
I wasn't a huge fan of Redemption. I thought that it was a bit too Baldur's Gate-esque.
Yeah, Redemption was more action-based and not story-based, which Vampire should be. Yeah.
But you're also quite big in the community, because I mean, you had your whole D&D thing based on Vampire Masquerade. Sort of.
Yeah, my Vampire the Masquerade took my storyteller virginity, by the way. My dungeon master virginity, yeah. It was my first ever DM'd session ever, and I had a lot of fun. The problem that why it ended is getting streamers together. It's like herding a bunch of drunk cats. Yeah.
But it was really good. I remember watching quite a few of your episodes, and if I didn't catch it on the day, I used to watch it afterwards. And it was really, really interesting the way you put the story together, and obviously the performances and stuff.
Can I tell you a little secret?
Of course you can.
90% of that crap happened on the fly. I winged 90% of that story. I was like sitting there and something would happen in one episode. I'm like, okay, cool, we're going that direction now, cool. And then something completely opposite happens, like, okay, cool, scratch that idea, let's just go with
That's called that's winging it to the nth degree.
yeah.
That's also good DMing because it shows that you can just make things up on the fly and people won't even be able to tell. They'll just go, oh, we thought it was part of the story kind of thing, like I did.
Yeah.
You just strut your stuff.
Yeah.
But no, dude. You know, honestly, are the VODs still available? Are people able to watch the VODs, or have they been deleted by now?
Oh no, they're on YouTube. I made a plan of it to put both seasons. I think the first season was 13 episodes or something.
Yeah.
Like the second season, is shorter. I know that because people were falling away. People were like, oh, we can't make it anymore and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I had to literally find a reason to end it the way I originally intended to end it. So that's why I think the second season of City of Thorns on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ZaffaGeek.
There you go.
You will find that. And it's like, yeah, it was quite cool. I loved it.
No, that's awesome. That really is awesome. And yeah, guys, so there you go. youtube.com/ZaffaGeek. You gotta definitely get out to go and watch him. He's got some epic videos. There's no doubt about it. And obviously, you know, he's a close friend of ours. We've known him for many a year now. I'd say, well, not many a year, but long enough.
2018, eh?
Yeah.
2018.
But it's only been like 2 years. 2, 3 years.
Yeah, 2018, because I know my shitty Rage experience was 2017, so... And you made all my bad con experiences go away just of that one Comic-Con event.
Yeah, it's because we weren't there. That's why your Rage experience was so terrible.
Well, we were there in 2017, but we were running around like headless chickens. That was our first year doing events, and we were in over our heads.
Well, you know what they always say, you know, if you jump in, you got to jump in the deep end and just learn to swim. I mean, it's just how it works with anything, you know. That's also how I start games.
I'm still learning to swim on Twitch, okay? I'm still learning to swim.
Yeah, there's always that new technique that you haven't learned just yet, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, how did the news hit you though when you realized that they're going to be indefinitely?
The big thing for me is like it's exactly the same way that the news hit me when they released Bloodlines 1.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, about 3 months later, I'm like, oh, they released a Vampire the Masquerade game. Huh, I'm gonna play it. So it wasn't like for me, I was looking forward to it from the initial announcement, but like what happens with me is I try and go on a total media blackout when I'm looking forward to something, so that I can get surprised when it launches. And I just heard like there's this one guy called Strange Adventures on YouTube. This guy, he lives and breathes Vampire the Masquerade. He literally lives and breathes them. Like if there's a hint of a new freaking clan coming out, he knows about it, and he knows a lot about it.
Awesome.
And like he did a 7-minute video about the cancellation of it, and I'm like, oh, well, it's cancelled now. So, well, the delay, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just wait until it releases, and if it doesn't release, well, shit, it's not the first World of Darkness title to be canned. There was this one that was supposed to be an MMORPG, funded or created by CCP, the creators of Eve. They bought White Wolf Game Studios.
I remember.
And they had this entire plan of setting it up, and I went deep into it. I'm like, this is going to be freaking amazing. And a year later, they're like, we're going to cancel it. I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? Let's just go on media blackouts. Yeah.
They invested themselves way too much in Eve, and that's why. Look, Eve is unbelievably popular. It's one of the biggest MMOs out there at the moment when it comes to space MMOs. So you know, you got to give them their props where they're due. But I think they may have essentially overstretched themselves with that, and actually not realized that it just wasn't. They didn't have enough resources to be able to push out another game on top of their Eve while they were still trying to get Eve actually.
Well, Eve was their big cash cow, and they literally had to decide whether or not they want to keep on making money or potentially lose money, some of the money they're making. So it's like, yeah.
But I mean, that's going to controversy.
I forgot that alarm was on. I'm sorry. That's gonna be some editing. That's gonna be editing right there.
Split second of it, so it's good.
Yeah, we really did. But that there is going into the bloopers. Just so you know. But
that'll be the intro for this one.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
That would be an epic intro. Where was I?
Bloodlines, Eve.
Where was I on Eve though? I'm sure I went past Eve just a little bit. But anyway, okay, so that overstretched themselves when it came to that, as we've spoken about. They stretched themselves quite thin with profitability, but then we got to, that's what I was going into. It's the same thing when a company like CCP, they get big, they get known, people like them, they like their product, it's a good thing. And they start to realize, okay, we've got a following, we need to actually give them something good, and then the shareholders get involved.
Yeah.
There's a certain
to
shareholders got involved, and it was a royal fuck up.
Yeah. To give you an idea of how big CCP is, it's like 60 or 70% of Iceland's GDP. That's the amount of money they're making. It's literally, there's people that's been like, there's some YouTubers that's been to Iceland, and they're talking like they're just going to a pub, and like every third or fourth person they're talking to, they ask them if they know the company CCP, and like someone's brother's working for them or whatever. It's literally like one of the biggest things. I think it's Iceland. Yeah, I think it's Iceland.
I actually don't know.
There's something krona. That's their. It's the ISK on the currency thing, exactly like ISK in Eve.
I know.
Yeah, Iceland. It is Icelandic. Icelandic krona. Yeah.
I can't pronounce that name. It's I think it's Reykjavik.
Reykjavik. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it is, in Iceland.
Yeah.
Nice. Some stupid information there for everyone. I mean, we're geeks, so we talk. We go geek. We really go geek.
We really go geek.
Yeah. the thing is, and also we're talking with ZaffaGeek. So I mean, ZaffaGeek, geeks, geeks. We're all geeks here.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But the reason why I go onto that is because of Cyberpunk. I mean, you know, and the reason why I go onto Cyberpunk is not because I'm going after them.
We went through it in our first thing. We can't handle back to it.
It's a big thing. I mean, I'm sure Zaffa agrees.
And I guess you really looked forward to it, right?
You know what? I still enjoy the game. That's the whole thing. I've played it after all the bugs have been repaired and all that. I'm not going to say, and I said this in the first video as well. I'm not going to say to the company, I'm not going to play your game. I want my money back. I'm keeping the game because The Witcher 3 turned out to be a damn good game, and they made the same mistake with The Witcher 3. So you know, you can't. I'm not going to just throw it away and say, okay, well, I'm not going to play that game anymore. I'll wait. I don't mind waiting because I enjoy the game. I think the bugs need to be fixed and the story sort of needs to. Yes, the cat walking across the screen. I can't go yet. But essentially, I don't mind waiting until the game is fixed. I was annoyed that they had released the game broken. I thought better of CD Projekt Red. I thought that they were actually better than that because I thought that they may have learned from their lessons before as well. Unfortunately, they didn't. But it wasn't a case of, oh, now I'm going to hate on them for the rest of my life. Mistakes happen. Yes, I don't think that the the shareholders and the big bosses in the company should have pushed the game as much as they did. I think they should have actually given it a bit of a chance to grow so that the developers could build the game and make it good. But I am not going to chastise them for the rest of their lives. I'm not that kind of person. I go after EA because EA keeps fucking up.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Zaffa?
But Zaffa, you wanted to say
Do you have
something.
any thoughts?
I see you there with your hands poised for the conversation.
I don't want to really talk about Cyberpunk because, you know, I didn't buy it or anything. I'm usually of the idea, because of the streaming and everything, I like, oh, something big releases, cool, I'll wait 3 to 6 months before I stream it, or before I even think of streaming it. And when that crap happened, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So by the time I get around to it, most of the crap will be fixed. And I'll probably get like an extra DLC for free with it. So it's like, you know, there'll be extra content in any case. But speaking of The Witcher, earlier tonight, we're having like Wednesdays is our family dinner nights, right? It was like, and I look at my mom and I'm like, Mom, I want to introduce you to a show.
No, you didn't. Did you?
There's gonna be, and I told her, I'm like, there's swearing a lot, there's some frontal nudity, but it's a fantasy thing. And my mom liked like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. She was like, season 6 was okay, or season 7 of Game of Thrones was okay. She hated that one episode where it was a black screen though, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, let's just continue on from that. But I told her, like, if you like those type of shows, you will love The Witcher. So I'm sitting with her, and we're casting it to the TV, and I'm sitting there, and I just want to watch the intro because I want to remind what I felt. I want to see what her reaction was to everything. And she's like, and my mom is a wildlife fanatic. There's this thing now on DSTV called Wild Earth, right? Where people are literally Twitch streaming. Rangers are driving around in parks Twitch streaming, but only to Nat Geo Wild. Yeah, that's freaking epic. So they follow storylines and they talk about the animals and why they do what they do. So it's pretty damn awesome. And I looked at my mom when I saw that the first time. I'm like, they're doing what I'm doing, but I'm only doing it with games. And my mom looked at me and I could see like a light go on. And she's like,
Nice.
now I know what my son's doing. But anyway, so we get into The Witcher. It starts. And that little deer in the beginning, listen, spoiler alert, it's the first like 3 minutes of the first episode, okay? So if you haven't watched it, just turn away now. That little deer, doe thing, foal, walking next to the water, and all of a sudden that spider thing, I think it's a kikimora, jumps out of the water. Yeah, jumps out of the water, and you see like a flash of white hair, and my mom was like, is that Legolas? And she's like, is that the guy from Lord of the Rings? I'm like, no, it's someone completely different. And she's like, okay, and so she starts watching, and like she freaks out a little bit about the creature design and everything, and but she's okay. I could see like she's into it. She's like, whoa, this is. I could see on her face that she really likes it. And at the end, when he kills the kikimora, he walks out of the water and says, looks at the little injured deer, and he's like, today is just not your day, or something like that, right? And my mom was like, oh, was that little deer the monster? I'm like, no, it was injured by the monster. And yeah, so that is my mom's, the first impressions from my mom on The Witcher.
That's epic though, dude. That is,
yeah. And tonight, like, just before I came back here, just before I connected, like, on the Discord thing, she was in bed, and I'm like, so what do you think? She's like, she can't wait to see the next episode and see where it goes. She really wants to see where it goes. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's nice, because the second season is starting soon as well, so then
yeah.
caught up in time to watch the second season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's like, you know, talking about mothers and stories. I don't even know if Kez knows this. She may have read my phone, so she probably does. So obviously we live in Scotland, so you guys all know this already.
I thought, you know.
Anyway, I streamed Baldur's Gate on Saturday. Now, I mean, you guys all know that I like my old BioWare games. When I say old BioWare, I mean like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Neverwinter, the games I'm going to be streaming for you guys. So
Stop shaking your turtle.
I'm holding my shift key in so that I don't speak when you speak. But anyway, you know, the joys. This is married life, guys. Anyway, continuing. So, so my mother, I said to her, look, our new video's out, and if you like it, you can go and watch it. We do have a highlight reel that's actually been that we released to YouTube as well, so that you can go watch that. And she was like, no, I can't. She started watching the first few minutes of it. She's like, I can't do this. I can't watch this because you're playing Baldur's Gate and you know that I can't play it right now because my computer's broken. So I said to her, because essentially what had happened was one of either her cats or our cats, we don't know yet, had a little accident on her Apple Mac.
Ooh.
And it's now broken. And on a MacBook, and they're really expensive to repair. So unfortunately, she's unable to play it. Will not watch the video because she so desperately wants to play Baldur's Gate again. My mother is like a super Baldur's Gate and up to about Neverwinter Nights. She's that kind of. She loves those games. That was the whole thing around The Witcher and CD Projekt Red. That veered off topic really quickly.
It did.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
I segued into the whole mother story. I'm sorry.
Epic, dude. That was absolutely the most epic segue. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit more about your favorite
game and why you chose this specific one, which did, because you played Valheim recently as well, which I think is also a survival game.
Yeah.
So basically, why you chose 7 Days to Die and why you chose Valheim out of all the different survival games, what makes you choose that specific one that draws your attention, basically?
I can't remember why I went with 7 Days to Die though. I can't remember. Back in the day, it was on sale. I was in South Korea. It was on sale for like $7. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it, right? And then I streamed it a little bit in South Korea and just left it. And then I joined a stream team that specializes in 7 Days to Die. So I got more into it, and I remember like I started streaming it, and it was a lot of fun, and it was zombies and everything. And I can't really remember what drew me to it. I think the simple fact that after about a certain amount of days have gone by, the game just becomes too easy. And I think that's what drew me to it. Like once you like survived like the 3rd or 4th horde night, you're golden. If you're not doing permadeath runs or whatever, you're golden, you know. Valheim, on the other hand, why did I buy it? I was watching another podcast, and the one Co-Carnage on that podcast like was full of praise for this game, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it and see what happens. And it says, you need 1 gig of space available for this game.
That's funny.
And I'm like, okay, you know, 1 gig, it's early access, let's try it. And then I click download. 500 megs later, the game's installed. I'm like, okay, cool, that's 500 megs. Fuck, how brilliant can this game be? And oh my lord, this game shouldn't be in early access. It should not be it should be a released game. If you take a look at, and again, I'm not bashing, but if you take a look at 7 Days to Die, it's now their 7th year in early access. And you take a look at Valheim, which is what, 2 years in development by 3 people.
Yeah.
They brought on like artists, like later in the game, later in the development cycle. And I'm like,
yeah, it looks nice.
So in 3 years, these guys made a complete game that I'm stuck in at the moment because I want to get to the end. But to get to the end, I have to grind a little bit. I think that's also what draws me to survival games, is the grinding aspect.
Yeah.
Where you can literally like, hey guys, I'm going to mine for stone now, let's talk, on Twitch. Like, it's basically a just chatting session, but while you're collecting resources, yeah.
Yeah, essentially, it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, like to answer your question, I don't know why I went with survival games. 7 Days to Die got me in, and then now I'm sitting on Valheim.
Like, would you ever play, I think I saw you mention something about Subnautica. Like, would you go further into Subnautica or Ark or...
The big thing with... There is. Like, I would go back into Subnautica once the Below Zero is finished. Then I'll start a literal Subnautica franchise playthrough. I'll start from the first one, and just push through to the last one. I'll just dedicate my time to that. What concerns me, though, is the original screenwriter, if you want to say, a scriptwriter for Subnautica, left halfway through Below Zero's development cycle. So they literally had to bring in someone new. And apparently it is noticeable in the game. So I don't know how much fun I will have with Subnautica. I mean, Subnautica was developed in such a way. You finish the game, you play the game, you finish it, and then you go watch the trailer. Because the trailer for the game gives you more backstory to the game. If you watch the trailer first and you play the game, it's like, oh, okay. But because I haven't seen the trailer of Subnautica, it's literally, in Subnautica, there's like voice logs of people.
Don't spoil everything.
No, there's the trailer is about those voice logs. Yeah. It's about those voice logs, and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing, So do not watch the trailer. If you're going to play it, do not watch the trailer. Watch the trailer afterwards, and your mind will be blown. Yeah.
I haven't watched so I'm happy to say that I'm not going to. Thank you for that, Zaffa.
I would, because I don't plan on playing the game, so...
I've got thalassophobia, fear of deeps, the deep, fear of the deep, right? There was during my streaming time, during like my Subnautica stream, I literally put my hand like on the lower part of the screen of my vision and swam as close to the surface of the ocean as possible, or in the ship as close to the surface of the ocean as possible. Yeah. And if I had to go down, I would go straight down to hit the bottom.
To the ground, yeah.
So that I can like, okay, there's the bottom. I can see the ground. I can see everything around me. It's just this dark part up here that I don't like.
Yeah, dude, I know exactly how you feel. I don't know why, but I can play the game. I can play the game, and I don't need to do what you've done. So I don't think I have the phobia as bad as you, but holy crap, do I not like being in the middle.
Yeah.
Either got to be on the ground or at the surface. I've got to know that there's something there, because, there's always that fear that something's going to come up and nick me from the bottom.
Yeah.
Something's going to come down and hit me on the top, and I crap myself. Now, I'm not joking. I was playing the game the other day. I mean, you guys probably would have loved it, but I was playing the other day, and one of the Leviathans came at me. I was in one of my little subs. Bad idea where I went, but I was trying to get to one of the islands, and I'm in my little sub, and I'm trying to find some tools so I can build my what's that big sub called, the Cyclops.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build my Cyclops, but I'm trying to find the parts for it now. And I'm busy going up now to get towards the island, to closer to the island, so I can get some food, because there's food on the island. So I'm busy going up at this, but Leviathan comes out of nowhere. Oh my god, dude, I jumped about that far.
Dude, not to spoil anything, okay? And this is not spoiling anything. But in the game, eventually you come across some data disks or whatever, and if you read through it, they're like, the Leviathans we encountered, are baby Leviathans.
Oh my god!
And I'm like,
thanks for that one.
Okay then, I'm not gonna venture further. I mean, Subnautica is so... Yeah, the Subnautica is so big. There's an entire biome I missed. There's an entire ecological system that I missed.
Jeez.
Like, afterwards, people are like, have you seen these things yet? So I'm like, no.
Those are in the game?
And they send me pictures of what they look like in the game. I'm like, yeah, no, I haven't seen those. Sorry. I finished the game, and I'm like, sorry, I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, I will go back into Subnautica to answer your question. And Ark is a bit of a difficult spot for me because, firstly, the company released a DLC while the game was still in early access.
Yeah.
I got the game. I got the DLC, you know? And I was like, okay. And it's just... There's something... I played a bit of Ark, and there's just something about Ark that doesn't grab me. And I mean, I'm a huge dinosaur fan. I mean, that's one of the things that made me want to play Ark. And I was like, And I played Pixark for about 2 or 3 streams, and Pixark was fun, but it wasn't grabbing me, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just something about those type of games, like, either I choose to play the more basic versions of survival games, some things that are straightforward, and like, you do this to get this, you know, and you like... I don't know, Ark just didn't do it for me. Plus, I got killed by a dinosaur on the beach within the first 20 minutes, so it's like, fuck it, I'm done.
I like Ark, but also there's so much that's actually wrong with it. Like, I would have loved to build my Dodo army, but it's not a it's not a good idea to actually have a Dodo army. It's not a practical thing, and I play with Rick, who doesn't like Dodo army. But also, like, what I've noticed with some of them is that, and I think that's why I stopped playing them, like, we recently got Atlas as well, and the tethering problem with those ones
That's
is...
the same company.
Like, Zip is off this way and I'm trying to do something else, and if one of us goes too far away, it pulls you closer again, and you're like, okay, you can't go anywhere. But like, with, for example, 7 Days to Die, I was miles away yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I think that's something to look at as well for all the other games. I think Raft also doesn't have a tethering thing, but I might be wrong.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Little Raft all the time.
Most of the time, yeah. And you're only, like, most of the time you would be centered around an island in Raft.
Yeah,
and Raft is one of the, along with Subnautica, Raft and Subnautica are the 2 survival games with an actual story behind them, you know? And it seems like Valheim is also going to be it, also going to have a bit of a story behind it. They are 75% complete of the game. So this is an early access title that's 75% complete, and it doesn't feel like early access, you know? But yeah, maybe the storyline is also a good factor, big factor. I mean, there's probably a storyline in Ark, but it just didn't grab me.
There is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wow, though. I don't think. Not wow enough to grab your attention, though.
Yeah, I've been playing Ark for a while. There is actually a story for it. It takes a while to get there. I still haven't reached it, so that shows you how long it takes.
Yeah.
It's but getting to the Atlas thing. When it comes to survival games, for me, I like you, I like the grind. So I get where you're coming from, and the reason why I chose Atlas, or if I, for example, you know, there was the Sea of Thieves. Which Kez and I went in and quickly left because we were accosted by a whole bunch of turds that were busy just shooting us with the bows. No, that's the whole idea.
Okay. The next time you guys are going to boot up Sea of Thieves, you're going to have Captain Zaffa on your team, okay? And we're going to have a lot of fun, okay?
Great.
There we go.
What we're going to do, Captain Zaffa, firstly, is we are going to have to get our Microsoft accounts.
Back. You need to, because they're in South Africa. Yeah.
No. We've got them here, but we need to get back up and running. We don't have. We stopped paying for the subscriptions essentially.
Oh yeah.
It's thought that you can't play all the gears.
Sadly, I'm more with Sea of Thieves. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying it. Not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop.
It's not just that. It's not just that. Also, her Microsoft account is we both deactivated our Game Pass accounts because Kez, for one, thought that, oh no, she will never be able to play all the Gears games on her PC. The truth of the matter is, she can.
Now she can.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I said to her, look, you can, you went to the wrong page. She thought that she had to pay for the game, and I said to her, Angela, you can play all of them. She's like, no, I can't. Look, so I opened it and I said, I can play one to the last one. You can play all of them. She's like, no, you can't. So I left her.
Yeah, it's literally a case of, and this is the good thing that Microsoft did. It's literally a case of most people come into like Twitch streamers chat and is like, yeah, you can buy the game or just go on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, dude, I honestly, Forza Horizon 4, dude, I am loving that game. I cannot believe how much that game reminds me of your Need for Speeds. It is unbelievable. I will not play Motorsport because I've heard stories about it. And being a Gran Turismo fan, I have no need to play Motorsport. I've got my Gran Turismos. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Horizon and the Need for Speed franchise, screw Need for Speed. Forza Horizon 4, guys, you gotta play that game. It is epic. I am loving it. I mean, I've literally just bought myself an RX-8. And I'm buying myself a real RX-8 at some point, but that's later on.
Yeah. But another tidbit of Sea of Thieves, there's a certain area, so if you're ever going back, there's a certain area where the waves are especially blue, right? And you reach this one island, and for the old gamers out there, you'll go, this feels like Monkey Island.
Oh, nice.
And I actually played Sea of Thieves with one of the developers there a while ago. Like, on the night that Turtle Biscuit died, I played Sea of Thieves with one of the developers from Rare. And I was like, yeah, this feels like Monkey Island. And he chuckles. He's like, yeah, Monkey Island is one of the inspirations for this game. I'm like,
nice.
Yes.
That is so awesome, dude. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So jumping back onto that, all right. So essentially what had happened was, I'm not fond of the guys from Wildcard for doing this, but I got Atlas, okay, because I heard that a lot of people were giving it grief because it's not the normal pirate kind of game where you can buy a ship and build it. It's like, no, dude, it's not how it works. I kind of understand it now because I've been playing it, but I played Atlas, and we started playing Atlas, and I built my first ship. It was a tiny little thing. It was a little sloop. It's like, it's not worth it's literally not worth the wood that it's built with. So it's a piece of crap, if you shoot it once it sinks. So again, not worth the wood it's built with. But essentially, I started going into the game and building bigger ships and things like it. It's actually quite fun once you get further into the game. It's a good survival game. There is a story to it, but it's all about being a pirate, There's nothing wrong with that. You can go single player though as well, so you don't get grief by other players. So if you don't have, for example, me, when it comes to playing games, I don't have very many friends that will join me and play games with me and actually...
I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. I still love me, don't you worry, Sifter.
You said that you don't have a lot of friends.
I don't have many friends for a reason. So anyway, if you're like me and you don't have many friends, or you don't want to play with many friends, you just want to play by yourself, Atlas is a good game. It's fun to play. I mean, I'm still trying to get to my galleon, but I'll get there. The whole point is you can it's a good game to play with. If you go Sea of Thieves, you've got to have a group of friends to play with. Otherwise, the game is just not fun.
The big thing is, I beg to differ there. One of the streamers that I played a lot of Sea of Thieves with, he got to Pirate Legend level 10, and 90% of his time, he did it solo on a sloop. So he literally, and here's the cool thing. He was one of I think he was among the first 10,000 people to reach Pirate Legend in that game.
Jeez, nice.
Yeah, and like at the stage when they started releasing statistics, he was like one of the 5% that's got Pirate Legend. Like, he was still there when they released those statistics. It's like, yeah. But yeah, understand. You need friends. It's Sea of Friends. It's nicknamed Sea of Friends for a reason. But I mean, if you're talking about story design and everything, all the freaking quests in Sea of Thieves, because they brought that in now. They brought in like different quests where you explore islands and everything. Now, in the beginning, Sea of Thieves was very bare bones, and me and this particular friend that became Big L Gaming, shout out to him. It became the pirate legend and everything. We were like exploring in the beginning because there was no one playing, you know. Everybody played it for the first 2 weeks. I got it on the third week and we started playing, and by then everybody left because it was a shit game. And we started exploring islands and everything, and we went like we stopped at one point where there's like one tree in the middle of the ocean. We stopped there and like, let's go swimming down and look at this tree. We explore the island, we go down, we find a cave with some Aztec statues and some gold lying around. I'm sitting there going, holy balls, what is this? What is this? 6 months later, there's a storyline that takes you to that cave and activates like mechanics happening in that cave and secret doors opening up. And I'm sitting there going, wow, we saw the potential. The potential was there. It was just they released slightly too early, but I'm glad that they're doing well now, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I'm actually very happy that Sea of Thieves is doing well, because you know what? It's exactly the same as, for example, No Man's Sky. You know, how bad was that game on release?
Yeah.
You know, and big thing.
And they came back and they got the negative press, and they said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to work on it.
Yeah.
And we're going to release it for free.
Yep. There was the kicker. They released every single DLC up until now for free. There's nothing that you can't get for No Man's Sky that is not for free at the moment. I think that it was essentially an apology for the mistake that they made. And yes, okay, you know what, to a point I agree, but I think they need to at least charge for something now. Shame the guys.
The thing is, once they've reached all the promises that guy made, I think the next DLC after that will be charged.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Look at the game now. It is epic. Dude, it's a VR game. I played it on my PSVR, and that game is unbelievable in VR. It is, okay, nauseating.
Yeah.
But that's only because, you know, you've got to get used to flying in space on a VR. It is amazing, but nauseating. If you're not careful, you will get nauseated very quickly. But anyway, yeah. So you say you got into survival. You don't know how it hit you.
I don't know. I mean, I've always liked mindless grinding. I mean, if you look at my first ever MMO that I've played is Ultima Online, and that's got a lot of grind in it. Not a lot by today's standards, but back in those days, yeah, you had to grind quite a lot to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm also playing Wild Terror 2, which is even more grindier and more detailed crafting than it's the most detailed crafting that I've seen in the fucking game. It's an open box MMO sandbox survival PvP PvE type game, right? And this is the thing. You want to make leather. You get leather, you put it on a drying rack. Then you take a drying vat and you put water in it, and the leather gets turned into wet leather, soaked leather. Then you take 3 other solutions in 3 separate vats to make the leather. And after that, you have the leather. But anyway, I think it's the crafting aspect of it, the crafting, the grinding. I mean, in Valheim, the grind, this is the cool thing that Valheim got like absolutely perfect. Everything that you loot, you will need.
Jeez, nice.
I'm literally, because what happens in Valheim is you kill a boss and you unlock new technologies, all right? And how the technology tree in Valheim works is if you have certain items in your inventory, your character will remember how to make them. So the storyline behind Valheim is your character is dead in Purgatory, Valheim, or in Purgatory, he gets sent to Valheim to be able to join Odin in Valhalla, right? But in so he's dead. He's dead. So he picks up stuff and he remembers his past life, basically. You know, so that's how you remember. But like, it's crap. Like, I would pick up you move on to a certain age. So like in the beginning, you pick up berries and stuff, and to eat and kill animals and everything. Go to the next tier. Those berries that you picked up can be turned into something else. Cool. You kill the first boss, the berries can be turned into a jam, right? Kill the next boss and unlock some certain things there. Those berries that you picked up in the beginning can be turned into an antidote potion. So everything that you loot in that game, you pick up and you hold on to for dear life, because you never know when you will run out of it.
Yeah.
And I like it. I mean, I'm struggling with the third boss. I'm on my way to the third boss now. I need to. So it's meadows, dark forest, and then swamplands. That's how far I've gotten. I've gotten to the swamplands. Swamplands is kicking my ass because I'm not prepared for it. So now I have to go back to the meadows and grind there and search for items and get equipment and build myself up so that I can survive in the swamplands. And I'm pretty sure 90% of the stuff I'm going to loot in the swamplands, I'm going to use to survive in the swamplands even better. So that is how, everything is important in Valheim. And the best thing of it all, when you repair stuff, it doesn't cost anything. When you destroy an item, a building piece, you get all your materials back.
Not like
a random army of animals or something?
No, you can tame a bunch of boars, I believe, and they make little tiny baby piggies.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
It's difficult though, because they do tend to attack you first.
Well, I'm trying to hold zombies at the moment, and I like collecting them. So I'll collect little dodos.
Oh, you wanna?
The zombies. I'll collect the.
You wanna hoard zombies? Just build a forge and a campfire outside in the plain, and just keep them running 24/7. You'll get a screamer that spawns in another screamer that spawns in another screamer, and each screamer spawns in about 6 or 7 different zombies. There we go.
All come in, yeah.
Zip killed Jiminy Billybob, so I need a replacement.
Because she was bringing him to our home. I've learned a few things about 7 Days to Die, and one of them is there are things called hotspots. You do not want to create a hotspot, so you have to have more than one place to stay. But Adam over here decides, I'm going to bring all the zombies to one side, and one of them happened to be a screamer. So clearly I went after the screamer first.
The big thing about Valheim, again, is it seems like they focused on building quite a lot. So it's literally like you have certain workstations, like your forge and your whatever, but you can upgrade those workstations to upgrade the items that you make there. And it seems like their plan was to have a separate building for each sort of workstation. And it's like you can build like an entire freaking Viking village on your own and just go, I've built this.
And the fact that they brought in bosses as well, I think is a big plus for them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get anywhere if you don't attack a boss. That's it. You don't. Like, if you want to build more shit, you better attack a boss.
Yeah. No, it's epic. I am just watching a few of the videos.
And the big thing is dying in that game is doesn't have as many penalties as one would think.
Jeez, yeah, because survival games is all about penalties when you die.
Yeah, like for example, you die, you leave gravestone behind, so you go and collect it. And once you collect, like, you click on the gravestone and all the items automatically transfers to your character. You click on it again, you've got increased running speed, increased stamina regen, and you've got damage resistance. So it's literally them telling you, you can still get your stuff back and you don't have to worry about dying again. Yeah, and like I said, they took the concept of building survival MMO or building survival type games and just made it better, added quality of life stuff, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see that they've actually just like said, when you die, you learn from what happened, and your character learns from what happened, and they'll grow as it goes along. So I just saw the end of the one trailer saying embrace death. It's actually really well done.
Dude, when you chop down trees, they fall on you, you could potentially die. I mean, it's literally a case of like, everything can kill you. Like a troll could chase you, break down a tree, that tree could start a domino reaction, and the tree could hit you from behind and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than having to chop down a tree and then it just like vanishes. Because that's what happens when you punch or chop down a tree, it just goes...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I do like. I'm looking at it now. It's one thing I do like is the fact that they actually do that. It makes the gameplay more authentic.
The game is just... There's bugs. I've literally, in the swamp, there's an enemy called enemy_blob. And I'm like, I saw it, I'm like, you know what? The game is so good, I don't fucking care.
Exactly.
I don't care that an enemy is called enemy_blob. I'm good. We're gonna handle this. We're gonna handle this, you know?
Exactly.
And it's literally, and it's not like they're giving you hints and tips of where to go. It's literally, they give you the first boss and its location, or you can find it pretty damn easily. The second boss, you need to find its location in a dungeon, right? The third boss, I'm thinking I need to go into the... But you find its location in a dungeon in a biome that you haven't explored yet, you know? So you have to literally go out and explore and find different biomes. The third one, or the swamp one, I think that's the third one. I know there's dungeons in the swamp, and I know the dungeon's got iron, and I've got a key. I don't know where I'm going to use this key, but apparently everybody tells me you'll know where to use that key. I'm like, okay then, so I'll just go into the swamplands and die over and over again and get me some iron so that I can actually make iron tools and stuff, and perhaps find the next boss.
It's always helpful.
Yeah. And it's definitely a friend game. Hey, you need to have someone to play with to just make the game bearable a little bit.
That's about it.
Have someone focusing on building, you know.
I'm not the building friend, I'm the finding friend.
She's the let's see what friends I can find friend. Not always good.
Look, I found this person, or I found this thing. Look, it's my friend.
Oh, she'll bring back a freaking T-Rex. Oh, look what I found. You're like,
yeah, so like I said, don't know what's dragging me to survival games or what gets me into them, but I say that's... It's a lot of things, actually.
yeah, no, it's crazy. It really is. Just all of the weirdness behind it and how awesome survival games can actually be. I mean, a lot of people don't understand why I play survival games. Dude, I got started on Minecraft.
Yeah, me too, actually. Wait. Yeah. My first survival game was Minecraft. Yeah.
I didn't mention it because I hate it, but it is a survival game, but I can't stand it. It's little blocks.
Lego.
The big thing is, the moment I knew I was addicted to Minecraft, so I was starting to dig this cave, and then I started to explore the cave because I opened up into a chasm, and then 8 hours went by, and I was like, I need to eat. I need to...
You don't realize how far you've actually gone because you're so invested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, it's madness. It really is. But yeah, so no, it's been epic. I think is there
I have one more question. When are you gonna pick up your roles for D&D again? Is it something you are planning on doing?
I want to do it, but due to logistical stuff, especially like I'm trying to hit partner on Twitch, and unfortunately, because of the size of my channel, the D&D stuff isn't doing well. You know, if I could get like production values higher up than it currently is, and probably hire someone in the background to play music and sound effects, then I could try it. But so for the time being, until I've gotten that check mark, the next Vampire the Masquerade game that I've already got the plan for, or the storyline I've got it like in my head, will probably only happen after that, and hopefully before the end. Hopefully before the end of this year. Yeah.
Well, that's at least some good news.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been epic. Obviously, chatting with you. Hopefully, we'll be able to actually get you on a few of our videos with 7 Days to Die and some of the more survival games that you might be able to help us with. Anything from your side? Questions or anything?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to each other?
Why would we can?
I don't know. Questions?
Anything you want to say? Anything you want to...
Yeah.
Is this the part where I shall sell myself?
Of course it is.
Of course. Yeah, sell yourself.
Okay, cool. So this is the third time I'm going to mention it ever. My name is ZaffaGeek, a variety streamer from South Africa. I stream twice a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. Currently, because our D&D session is on hold for about 2 or 3 months, so that's why the sometimes 6 days a week comes in. I play a variety of games, currently Valheim, and I'm probably going back to Skyrim soon. And then you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, at Zaffa_geek. YouTube, ZaffaGeek without the underscore, and ZaffaGeek.com. It literally got released yesterday. It's still under heavy maintenance, but at least it's there. And you could you're checking it out now. And I've got merch. I'm not wearing one of my merch t-shirts now because they're all in the wash. I've got Holy Balls t-shirts. I've got Mother of Balls t-shirts.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah. And look towards the YouTube thing because I might be hinting at something new coming to YouTube pretty damn soon. If I can just get around to it. Yeah. Thank you for having me. First and lastly, thank you both of you for having me from the cold Scotland. And
it's actually warm. To be honest, it's a little bit warmer than it normally is. Well, it's no longer like winter cold. It's like South African winter cold, essentially.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me talk about Witcher and survival games and stuff, and us geeking out about random shit. It's always a pleasure to be on the show, and love seeing your beautiful faces. I mean, especially Zaf. If I swung that way, right?
It's weird, isn't it?
Obviously.
What?
Stop staring at the screen and end it.
It's ended.
They're the SA Geeks. Find them under SA Geeks everywhere. There we go.
Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Spreadsheet, TikTok. This is our little geekdom podcast is on Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Breaker, Radio FM. No, Amazon not yet. And there's about 4 or 5.
We're expanding our horizons.
But everything is on Anchor, and you can listen to us from there.
There we go. Yeah.
That's Kez's plug because she feels like plugging because she knows all the social media sites. I just say the end part. That's what I'm good at. I'm not that and killing zombies and saving kids from utter destruction. So anyway, yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Zaffa, thank you so much for joining us. It's been epic. Yeah, I think that's about the end of that. As always, guys, remember, hey?